This is a journal from high school where I wrote about how bad I wanted to change myself, to fit in with other people, to become more likable. And I would constantly improve myself, grow myself as a person so I can be that person that everybody likes. I would get left on red and I would genuinely question what was wrong with me. I would question what was it with me that made people not want to talk to me or made people think that I was annoying or just wanted to be absent from my life. And it got so bad to a point where I really wanted to change myself. I wanted to turn myself into a likable person. I wanted to turn myself into a completely different person.
I started lying about everything. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be accepted in some society of life, some social society. And I lost myself. I never had myself. I never found myself. I had no self-esteem.
Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid this. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how we think.
I don't think I'm beautiful until you call me beautiful. I actually don't think I'm the shit until you tell me I'm the shit. I don't have faith in me until you have faith in me. I don't believe in me until you believe in me. A lot of y'all have the deepest level of validation issues and you're not even conscious of it. You need people with you and around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the idea of spending time alone scares the shit out of you. This is not going to be a pattern of validation that gets fixed and handled overnight. You are deathly afraid to live with and be with you. And so you got text messages, phone calls, and people at your house, video games. You have to be consumed and around and in an environment with people all day, every day, because you don't love yourself.
If you don't have people that dislike you or get upset at you, then you don't respect yourself. And I know that that sounds crazy, but that pretty much just means that you're kind of teetering towards what everybody else expects from you or what everybody else wants or needs from you. I feel like that constant desire to appeal to every single person is disrespecting yourself. And if you don't even respect yourself, you can never count on anybody to respect you. I feel like people constantly disrespecting themselves is exactly why good things don't happen to people. That's exactly why people are so unsuccessful in life. Because if I wake up every single morning with the goal of working out or reading something and doing something productive, and then I don't accomplish any of that in the day because I disrespected myself. Let's say I just went to a party, or let's say I just slept in all day. I set out all of those goals and then I blatantly disrespected myself by not doing any of it. So now when I wake up and I try to set the same exact goals, I'm not going to accomplish any of it. Not because I don't have the motivation this time, but it's because I don't respect myself. Why would I respect myself if I've constantly proven to myself that I'm disrespecting myself? If you gave one of your friends an important task that could make or break your future, and then they don't do it, and then you give them the same exact task the next day so they can redeem themselves, and they once again don't do it, they're going to start respecting that person to handle that decision. The same way that a lot of us wake up wondering why we don't have the motivation or wondering why we can't stick to these goals that we set out. It's because we don't respect ourselves enough to actually do it.
How much do you love yourself? Because if you understand the value of self-love, you'll never be friends with those type of people or ever accept any invites that has to do with this or that. Most of the people out here are running around empty. They have no sense of self, no sense of self-love. When I say self-love, it has nothing to do with celebrity, money, materialistic things, and all of the things that your negative mind could probably go to. Has nothing to do with self-love, has nothing to do with looks, nothing to do with cars and any of the superficial things that one would assume that could make you love yourself even more. It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me.
Why should you love yourself? Because if I said, should you love yourself? Is it important? Everyone would, yeah, of course. Everyone agreed that was like important. But when I said, well, why should you love yourself? People were really struggled with the answer to that question. And I would wait for an answer. I'd just sit there in silence with the audience. I did this at my retreat every year for years. I would just sit in silence while the audience came up with an answer to why to love yourself. And eventually someone would say, well, because we deserve it. And I'd say, okay, but why do you deserve it? Like, let's explore that. Why do you deserve self-love? Or why do you deserve love? Well, because I'm generous, because I'm ambitious, because I take care of my family, because I work really hard, they would start reeling off these qualities. And I'd be like, this is a problem, because you're not those things every minute of the day. So are you saying you don't deserve love when you're not those things? And people would suddenly realize why they hated themselves so much of the time, because they were never living up to this thing that they thought, if I'm these things, then I'm lovable. So anytime they said a mean thing, anytime they were selfish, anytime they didn't show up for their family, anytime they didn't work hard, they would suddenly go straight to, I'm detestable. I deserve contempt. So that didn't work. Not to mention, even on your days where you are those things, there's always someone who's more of them. Mm-hmm. So if someone can walk into the room and they're more hardworking, or they're more ambitious, or they're kinder, or they're more generous, do they deserve more self-love than you deserve?
Right.
That's a problem. If you ask a parent, why do you love your child? A parent doesn't say, well, because they got an A in maths yesterday, and because, have you seen how hard they work at school? And,
right.
And they look so cute in that dress this morning. And you ask, why do you love your child? A parent will go, they're my child. They're mine. Well, what if you took that model and you used that as your model for self-love?
If you want to learn about not having a mental self-image, watch your dog or your cat. They don't have an opinion about who they are. They just are who they are. So that removes an enormous amount of problems from their lives. Of course, they don't have the mind activity that creates a self-image in their head. They are pre-mind, and therefore their life is far less problematic than human life. You can see how wonderful it is not to have a self-image. You can look at an ugly dog or an ugly cat. They don't have a problem with that.
So you got a human. Your job, your only job in your life, is to take care of that human.
Yes.
You don't have any other job. Like, you may take on lots of other jobs, friendships, marriage, a career, but the one job you always have, no matter what, is you have to take care of this human. Look after them, nurture them, support them, encourage them, stand up for them. Try to give this human the best life you can.
So I knew through working out and through learning, because it took a lot for me to learn also. I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that.
I read a quote a little while ago that said, love yourself so much that nobody's absence bothers you. And I feel like that's honestly the biggest change in mentality that we need. We need to grow for ourselves, not for other people. You need to learn how to love yourself so much, not so another person's absence doesn't bother you, but love yourself so much that you love yourself more than caring if somebody's absence actually bothers you or not.
But it's also loving yourself is also understanding how and when to say a healthy no. No is a complete sentence, my grandma says. I don't need to give any explanation. Sometimes it's just no and a period.
For example, somebody last week asked me to study, and I know the type of person I am. I know that if I study with a friend, I'm not going to get work done because we're going to talk the whole time. So I was blunt and I said no because I respected myself enough to know that I'm not going to be productive if I study with you. And there were no hard feelings on my end, but that person dislikes me now. And I feel like it's moments like this that kind of emphasize what I'm talking about. Because if I compromise with this person and then study with them, I would not have studied effectively. I would not be showing my self-respect because I'm doing something that I know wouldn't benefit me just so I can make another person happy. And that's why I say that if you don't have people that dislike you or get upset at you, you're not respecting yourself. because you cannot make everybody happy. It's borderline impossible.
I always say that my job is to like Lisa first. Before anything that occurs today, my job is to like Lisa and to know that I'm going to bring the best version of me in every situation I can, to like me before anyone on Facebook likes me, and to know that I'm okay. What does it mean to be everything to you? That's not an arrogant statement. It's not a place of self-indulgence. It's to recognize that self-care is not selfish. It's to recognize that you can only serve others from a full cup, and that it's your job to fill yourself up. Fill yourself up with positive thinking. That's why you're here. Fill yourself up with new possibility. That's why you're here. Fill yourself up with new opportunities. Fill yourself up with having the best people on your planet, loving yourself enough to remove unhealthy, toxic people out of your life.
People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, you better love what you see.
But a lot of us have already gotten ourselves into that position where we're doing this for another person. We're trying to love ourselves enough for another person. And if that's your situation, I would honestly say that that's perfect, because now you're down here, right? You need to rebuild yourself back up, and you're going to actually do it the right way.
So I made a list of how to love yourself. And it's even in poster and postcard form now. But number one on that list of how to love yourself is to stop all criticism. Just stop it now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number one, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself.
You know, you are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you did, you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving. Keep moving. You know, use it as fuel. Say never again. You know, I get what I did wrong, but don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learned. You know, and to have that attitude is a really important thing. And to not say, why am I doing this now? I could have been doing this my whole life. Well, you weren't, so is that going to help?
Yeah.
You know, you gotta not think like that. You just got to be happy you're doing it now. Yeah, I realized at an early age that there's zero benefit in being hard on yourself, because I am no matter what, I'm a perfectionist and I get very angry at myself. There's zero benefit to self-talk that's negative. So I cut that out of my life like very early on.
The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you act on it. Sometimes you act on it good, sometimes bad. You got to change the internal dialogue. That person in your head that's talking that shit to you, you got to change that.
I realized somewhere along the way that the negative, like, in any way, shape, or form, I didn't need it, because I was so driven. Like that the negative was just getting in the way. It was like I thought that it was helping me because I was like, come on, like get going. But then I realized like, no. Like there's no benefit to that, because you already have like this crazy desire to get better. So just don't ever be shitty to yourself.
How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing.
And then when I started paying attention to my thoughts and changing them and saying, you know what, thank you for sharing that, brain or spirit or whatever's going on in there, but you know what, I am doing good. I am better. I am trying, you know, and redirecting those thoughts to be more positive thoughts and affirmations.
You did some things that you regret. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. Things don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. We made decisions and there was a bad result at the end of that decision. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person, no, it's like you made a mistake and that's okay and you got to move on.
You know, because it's one thing if you're sad because you've lost people. It's another thing if you're blaming yourself because you believe, and maybe with some cause, that you've made a mistake. And often people don't know what to do about the fact that they've made a mistake.
You got to forgive yourself. See, a lot of us have done some things in the past, or lied to ourselves, or lied to others, or procrastinated, or, all the things we've done has been recorded in our subconscious our whole life. And sometimes we get to the point where deep down, subconsciously, that we're not aware of, we don't think we deserve anything better than we're getting. And that's why we're getting what we're getting. See, you're never going to outperform your own self-image. So you may not be aware of it because we grow these things called egos to protect ourselves, but you theoretically could completely think you're a loser without even knowing you're a loser. So step one is forgive yourself and others from this point forward. You got to openly and honestly forgive yourself and others. Wipe the slate clean. There should be no resentment towards yourself, no resentment towards anybody else.
There's not much difference between forgiving other people and forgiving yourself. And you can't just do that by saying that you're going to do it. So what I've observed clinically, and I think this works philosophically as well, is that what you want to do to set things right, which is to atone, is to lay out what you've done that you think was wrong. Provide yourself with the best possible defense. So imagine you're taking yourself to task because you did some things wrong. It's like, okay, list them out in your imagination or write it down. But then you got to defend yourself as thoroughly as you possibly can, which doesn't mean you're trying to get yourself off the hook. It means that you're trying not to take yourself apart more than is necessary. And then you might ask, well, if I've done something terrible, maybe what's necessary is that I commit suicide, is that like I pay the ultimate price for my sins. And people will do that when they're depressed. And that's not right, because actually what you want to do to atone is to set yourself back on the right track. So the precondition for forgiving yourself is, first of all, to sort out whether or not you're accusing yourself too viciously.
You say, oh yeah, I made the decision at this time. Of course, if I had this other information, I'd change it, but I did what I did. The result was not what I wanted. It's not what I intended. Here we are. And now you can either beat yourself up, or you can say, here's some lessons I've learned from it. One of my SEALs killed a friendly Iraqi soldier in a terrible situation. And of course, we could go back and the hindsight's 2020, and I could have done this, and I should have done this, and I should have done something else. And I didn't. And that's on me. And so I think, that initial part, if we're going to talk about forgiveness, the first part of that is taking ownership, to say, yep, this was my call. This was my decision. This is the move that I made. That's me. Mm-hmm. It's not anybody else, it's me. Mm-hmm. Because the minute you start saying, well, this person did that, and this person, the enemy did this, and we didn't expect that. The minute you start casting blame on other people, now I think you're lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to cause more problems. So saying, yes, this was a decision I made. This is the information I had at the time. It ended up being a bad decision. Here was my intent behind it, and I've got to move forward. If you want to, I always talk about you want to learn, but you don't want to dwell. Yeah, if you dwell on the past, if you dwell on the mistakes that you made, like you said, everybody is just doomed.
Just say the words, I forgive myself for every mistake I ever made. I am a thoroughly good person, and I'm going to have a wonderful future. Even better, you can add the words, I love myself unconditionally. When you love yourself unconditionally, you let yourself go. Now, whenever you think of that past event or situation or person that you hurt or did something untoward to, just repeat, I forgive myself completely. And then get on with your life.
My father used to tell me a focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius.
Most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool.
You still clubbing, you still partying, you still popping bottles with models.
You can make sacrifices on Sunday when ain't nothing going on. Some of you focus until the phone ring, and then you like, I gotta answer it. If I don't answer the phone, I'm gonna die.
Get back to work. This is your new life.
It's time to stay focused. It's time to decide
that today I'm no longer being a loser.
Take it or leave it. There's no happiness about it. There's no peace behind it.
it's grind season, homie. You still got work to do.
It sucks. It just sucks.
Clubs, partying, trying to fit in and socialize.
It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the noise. Get back to the mental lab.
Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. All the homies texting and calling and trying to make you feel bad about being so focused.
If there's a party that night, just say no.
I will party later. I work hard now, so the second half of my life I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my mentality. It's like I'm not going to trick off my early years for partying and then worry about struggling, how I'm going to make it, how I'm going to take care of my family, how I'm going to take care of everybody else. Like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to grind it out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to set up the foundation so I can enjoy myself later. And I always felt like if other cats was out partying and I was home studying, I would have an edge.
Do the work now, and all that you could ever want to do for your family, your kids, your loved ones, it's all going to be on a whole nother stratosphere.
To be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become.
You've had a long week of work and errands and activities, and if we're being honest, you really couldn't be more excited than to be in your bed. Then, as you turn the page, a friend texts you a video. And as soon as you press that regrettable finger to the play button, your phone erupts with music. And as the beat drops and the camera pans over the crowd, you see all of your best friends at a packed house party having the time of their lives. And a massive wave of FOMO hits you. And the fear of missing out becomes even more interesting in the context of modern research. In 1938, a study known as the Harvard Grant Study, which is one of the most comprehensive studies ever done on the causes of happiness, began charting the physical and emotional health of 250 undergraduate men. And it tracked them through all developmental phases, through young adulthood, middle adulthood, and maturity. And after 75 years, the study found that across the board, keys to being happy are connection and accomplishment. And if we think about the effects of the fear of missing out, it keeps us from connecting and accomplishing.
I hope every one of you behind the screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck, if you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind and feel this level of happiness as you rise. One time in your life, but I'm blessed to be able to feel this again and again and again and again and again.
What is important, it's what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
What you want. You want to live a good life? Yes. I like to drink. I like to eat burger. Okay. You're going to pay the bill in the future.
Close your eyes. Go back to when you were a kid. Or close your eyes right now. Are you the kid hero right now? The kid inside of you 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever age you are, when you were a kid. Big dreams, big aspirations. Anything's possible. Every window's wide open to you. Have you let that shut? Or do you still believe it? If you now as an adult turn back to the kid at 8 years old, the same person, is that kid proud of you? Is that kid saying, that's who I want to be? If not, open your eyes and fix the There is no excuse for not being the hardest worker. Yeah, someone might be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, younger, whatever else, but there is no excuse to not be the hardest worker there. And when you believe that you have the ability to do something, that the life that you're living right now is going down this direction, you hate where it is. There is nothing else to do but to change direction. A belief that I cannot go that way anymore. I gotta go this way. And what do you have to lose? You know the outcome if you continue to say it. Why not just commit one time in your life to something? See what happens. There are no losers. in the world of passion and commitment to something. No one loses there.
You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone. I'm sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year. No, I'm for real. You reached the right number, but you called me at the wrong time. Call me back January 1st. I'm about to get busy now.
The thing about traffic jams, guys, there are no traffic jams in the last mile of the race. It's just you and your shadow. In the beginning, everybody's there. All the pretenders and the contenders, they're all there. But the last yard of life, the last mile of the journey, ain't nobody but you and your shadow.
You have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own trainer, your own everything.
Every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends. And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, you're doing these free tutorials online to try and figure out how to set up a podcast and where do I host this thing? And then you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now is that the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm. You know, you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be.
You have to take a path that's dangerous. And most people want to take the safe path. And the safe path leaves you stuck in quiet desperation almost every time. It's hell. And then you have to have a plan, and you have to spend all your waking hours outside of whatever job you do planning your escape. And you have to come to the realization very clearly that you f***ed up and you got yourself stuck. So whatever you're doing, you have to do it like your life depends on it. Whatever time that you have to attack like you're trying to save the world. You're trying to save your life. You don't want to drown. That 1.5 hours a day that you have to write, God damn, you better be caffeinated and motivated. You got to go. You got to get after it.
I'm obsessed with finding myself now after and not having to prove anything to anybody other than myself and my family, you know, but really myself. And realizing that is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like giving your best is enough.